For those with a passion for the sea, who seek to discover what lies beneath, comes the opportunity of a lifetime to explore the underwater paradise on board the Ocean Adventurer. Each episode, Captain David De Villiers and his crew, first mate Roddy Tor and international freedivers Hanley Prinsloo and Peter Marshall, meet up with an adventurer on a personal quest.
That's amazing!
To investigate unparalleled biodiversity and wildlife in the unique marine ecosystem at the spiritual southernmost tip of Africa. The Cape of Storms is surrounded by hidden reefs and formidable seas. It's a place where legends are born, where mariners share tales of ghostly ships crewed by tormented sailors. But for the Ocean Adventurer and her intrepid crew, it is the place to get closer than ever before to the animals of the deep. It's the place for full immersion and daring escapades. It's the ultimate playground. All aboard the Ocean Adventurer. On this episode of The Ocean Adventurer, our explorer pushes her mind and body to the extreme on a freediving mission that will take her deeper into the ocean than ever before.
And then it comes into your mind quickly, oh my gosh, this is 3,000 feet below me.
The deep blue can be daunting. Luckily, she'll be surrounded by ocean specialists. Skipper David is the perfect guide. He's effectively circumnavigated the globe 6 times. Now he wants to share his passion with others.
I started freediving around the kelp beds of the Cape, and as I got into deeper and deeper water, I just started pushing myself more and more and realizing by default how capable I was of staying underwater. And it's been an incredible discipline for me to learn. It's given me some of the best experiences of my life.
By his side is trusted first mate Roddy Tor, who shares David's love of the sea. From big wave surfing to freediving, the ocean is his personal playground.
Freediving takes you into another world. We've got such amazing coastline here with such amazing wildlife beneath it. So it just opens up a whole different playing ground, really, where you can just go and have a lot of fun and just interact with animals and be in another world.
The conditions are perfect on the Cape of Good Hope. Time to get our adventurer on board. Much like Roddy, Jessica Lee is a water baby looking to go beyond the surfing experience and see what more the ocean has to offer.
My relationship with the ocean, wow. Well, it's the longest relationship I've ever been in.
From the youngest I can remember, I'd always spent all of my spare time in the ocean. Both my parents worked quite a lot, and I used to just kind of be left up to my own devices. And myself and my childhood friend, we used to just build sandcastles, go body surfing, explore the rock pools. And then as I grew up, I got into bodyboarding and then surfing. The ocean's like a second home for me.
So my life can be pretty chaotic at the best of times. Studying, part-time job, everything that I have going. And to be able to go to the ocean in the evenings or in the afternoons or any time that I can get off in the early mornings, it allows me to sort of center myself, I feel so comfortable in the ocean. Hey, Roddy.
Hey, Jess, how's it?
How you doing?
Well, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, hey, I'm good.
Cool.
Just thought I'd bring my board in. I got a couple of dings.
Oh my goodness,
look at.
Let's take a look. Just pop
Cool.
it up on the stand here.
It's a tight-knit surfing community in this part of the world, so news of the Ocean Adventurer is traveling like wildfire. As a surfer and someone who studies environmental philosophy, Jess is the perfect candidate for an ocean adventure.
I'm studying environmental philosophy under the Environmental Humanities program. And at the same time, surfing's always been a big part of my life. And both of those areas are about our connection with the environment and with the ocean.
Environmental philosophy questions the place of humans in the natural world. The movement started back in the 1960s, when fears that human self-interest and a growing population would degrade the environment and deplete resources started to grow. These days, the field looks at ways humans can interact more gently with their natural surroundings.
I'm hoping that through this freediving experience, I'll be able to draw some links and come to understand things in a new light.
Hanli Prinsloo is an 11-time South African freediving champion and the ideal instructor.
I spent over 10 years competing as a freediver, and some of those really, really deep, focused, very intense dives along the rope have been phenomenal. But my very first time swimming with a playful pod of bottlenose dolphins blew that experience completely out the window. And that's when I eased off competing and started focusing on diving with animals.
And completing the task force, American world champion swimmer and fellow freediver, Peter Marshall.
I think when you're on just one big breath, you can swim down there and look at the eye on this whale, look at the eye on this dolphin, and you can see there's something going on in that animal's head. And I think once you realize there's this whole emotional world that's drawing it towards you, it's curiosity, it wants to know what you're doing down there, it just makes this world a little bit more magical.
For Jess's adventure, I realized that the first thing I needed to do was to get her up to speed really quickly. So paired her up with Hanli. Hanli could take her through the paces and get her up to speed quickly.
Jess will have to take a deep breath as she's about to explore this familiar environment in much greater depth. False Bay is a freediving paradise. With its clear, shallow waters, it's the perfect place for Jess to practice. Along the peninsula are hidden coves, protected from the swell, abounding with marine wildlife. Kelp grows in clusters close to the shore, forming underwater forests, an ecosystem favoured by divers. For surfers, however, Kelp presents a different kind of challenge.
So Jess, have you dived in kelp before?
Geez, other than being held under a couple of waves in the kelp forests at the Corp, no.
Involuntary diving.
Yeah, involuntary diving. No, I've never. I mean, you know, we get tangled up in it when we're surfing on the top.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've never really thought about like what's happening under there. And there's obviously a lot happening under there. So
It's quite a magical experience. It's like a mystical forest down
Yeah.
there. So it's a completely unique experience. It's really great. Actually, it gives me a great sense of comfort diving in the kelp.
Although this marine garden appears serene, for a novice diver, swimming through the tangled kelp bed can be unnerving. But Jess is building up her courage.
Let's get in the water.
go
Let's
check
go
it
and
out.
experience it.
cool.
David is bringing on board marine expert Mary Rowlandson. She's part of a team of fisheries scientists investigating new methods to better understand the number and variety of fish living in our oceans.
Hey! Hi, I'm Jess. Mary. Nice to meet you. Mary.
She's got a good idea of the wonders Jess is about to encounter in the Marine Protected Area, or MPA, hopefully including the enigmatic sevengill shark. In MPAs, human activities are strictly controlled, promoting conservation.
Right guys, we're right in the middle of Miller's Point here where we've got some beautiful kelp forests. We're really lucky today. We've got top to bottom visibility. So when you're swimming at the surface, doing your deep, slow breathing into your belly, you can start looking out for the silhouette of sharks at the bottom. And when you see one, take that big breath, stomach, chest, shoulders, really fill it up, snorkel out, and then you can pop down and go visit them. Jess, you and I will buddy up, so we'll stay nice and close together, keep an eye on each other.
I'll be close.
I'll be close. You're gonna be like my little remora on the side.
Immediately I feel like I don't want to see sharks, but I actually know that really deep down I do want to see sharks because of the sort of fear that I have of them. As surfers, we sort of like always afraid that we're going to bump into one. So I would like to see one just so that I can come to see that they're not as dangerous as I always think that they are.
Being a freediver is very different from being any other kind of waterman or waterwoman. You cannot rely on adrenaline and you cannot allow yourself to get pumped up like you do for surfing. You actually have to pump down, so to speak, and slow down your thoughts, slow down your energy, slow down everything so that when you get in the water, you can freedive. She's such a natural in the water that within a few minutes she got herself heart rate down, calm, diving down, enjoying the kelp. It was great to see her experience that environment that she often is on top of what is actually under her.
When you go down and you turn up to that light and the sunlight comes like streaming through, yeah, it's just really quite beautiful.
After about 10 or 15 minutes, I just got caught up in the beauty of the kelp forest. I mean, it was just so incredible being down there that I stopped thinking so much about, oh, am I doing my proper checks? Am I this? Am I that? Am I down here for long enough? I was just like, it's fine. Just be down there as long as you can and enjoy it. And then, you know, come up when you're gasping for air.
Equally as passionate about this environment is Mary, who is part of a team involved in groundbreaking work in this area.
So this was the area of your research. I'd really like to hear more.
Yeah, we did do some research in False Bay. We dropped down underwater video cameras to survey the fish in the area. It's a very simple rig. It just has the camera attached to one end and the bait attached to the other, and you basically drop it down for an hour or however long you decide to and observe all the fish that come into the frame of view, just to determine what species are here, how many fish are here in this biodiversity hotspot.
So what was the most interesting species you caught on camera?
Well, for me, I caught a great white shark on camera, which was incredible for me, because not often do you actually get the great whites on the camera themselves. Unfortunately, in terms of the rare species that I hope to see, such as red steam grass and red roman and things like that, we didn't see as much as them as we would have liked.
Well, the guys are diving today in the marine protected area, so we really hope for their sake they get to see a lot of those species.
Yeah.
The visibility is great, so it's a perfect opportunity.
Perfect opportunity today. The other great thing about these baited remote underwater videos is that we can use them in MPAs without compromising the management objectives. So we're not actually taking anything out of the water like we do when we fish, and we normally use fishing for surveying. So with this, it's a non-destructive technique, it's non-extractive, plus the fact that we can see everything in the environment. We can see the habitat the fish are living in. And more species are attracted to the cameras than they are to the hook. So this allows us to see everything and not just those fish that are of commercial importance.
I mean, it's a really special place. With it being a marine protected area, nobody's been able to take, legally, they're not allowed to take anything out of that space. So it really is a glimpse into what the oceans would be like if we didn't tamper with the wildlife there so much.
One of the most mysterious species living amongst the swaying kelp fronds is the sevengill shark. It is an important apex predator in this fragile biome. False Bay is one of the only places on Earth where diving with these sharks is possible. Colloquially known as cow sharks, their numbers appear to be in decline off the coast of South Africa, a trend also affecting a number of other fish species.
How was it, guys?
It was so beautiful down there.
Yeah, the visibility is great.
Incredible. It's like a whole forest underwater.
Yeah, you did some great dives.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to stay more and see them, but I'm so cold and I'm pretty hungry too.
Let's go shower and eat.
The water is freezing.
Easy.
Nice.
Cool.
Well done, Missy.
Thank you. That was great.
At this depth, one can spend a lot of time down there, which is nice because there's so much to see. The spiny starfish, all the red Roman.
Did you see red Roman down there?
Yes,
Well,
yes.
that's really good news.
Absolutely. I actually saw the biggest red Roman I've ever seen right here under an overhang.
So what's the story with the red Roman? Because we see them at this dive site, but not anywhere else.
The last sort of 10, 20 years, their populations have taken a massive dip. So outside of the marine protected area, you used to be able to find them a lot. But because of overfishing, mainly line fishing, they've all, their populations have disappeared.
Yeah, that's great then, because these marine protected areas are actually working then.
Yeah. We're about to lose Jess. Let's go feed her. Let's go.
Although the team were lucky enough to see many smaller shark species, Jess was spared a big shark encounter. But Hanley has got a surprise up her sleeve.
It was awesome to see you in the kelp, Jess, and your dives are looking so great. Like, you're totally relaxed, long dive times. I actually think I want to get you out a little bit deeper. And
Exciting.
I know just the place. Deeper water, warmer water. And yeah, is 3,000 meters deep enough for you?
3,000 meters. Did you say the water's going to be warm?
I could really use some warm water.
Yeah, I could use some warm water. I was just trying not to think about the 3,000 meters that are below me.
From where we are now, we head straight south, past Cape Point, keep going for another 3 hours. The water turns blue, it gets warmer. We have infinite depth underneath us, and it's the perfect place to dive deeper.
Great, great.
The ocean adventurer heads further out to sea, where Jessica will face her next challenge, diving above an undersea canyon. The Cape Canyon is located 35 miles off the coast. It is here that the Agulhas current sweeping southwards from the tropics and Benguela current intercept. In this mixing bowl of hot and cold water, marine life thrives. There's a good chance they can attract blue sharks to the boat with the help of a little chum made from fish oil and sardines. In the meantime, Hanley wants to continue with Jess's training.
It's been really great watching you guys get more and more comfortable with your freediving, especially in these dynamic ocean environments. So, Roddy, you've done a little bit more freediving and open water freediving than Jess has. I'm curious, Jess, how are you feeling about getting in the water in the open ocean, bearing in mind that right now underneath us is 3,000 meters of water and all kinds of marine wildlife?
Sure. A mixture of feelings, I think. Very excited, but also quite nervous. I suppose I didn't really think about it that way, that there's so much space beneath me, you know?
It's quite a surreal thought to think that there's 3 kilometers down to get to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
And we're going to be floating around up on the top of all that.
I'm just hoping that because there's that much ocean, it means that the wildlife, some of the wildlife are quite well spread out. Maybe just the ones I don't want to bump into.
Yeah, it's disregarding the fact that we're actually putting chum in the water to bring them closer to us.
Yeah. No, but actually saying that, I mean, I do want to see the wildlife. So, yeah, I'm really excited to be going in at this out here. This is where the waves that we surf get made, you know? This is where the swell's from. So, yeah, it's going to be good to get into
We're used to
this space.
spending so much of our time on the surface of the water, and we follow the swells and the forecasts relentlessly, and we chase every swell. So it's a great opportunity for us, an experience to get out here, to be so far out where it actually all starts for us.
Absolutely.
And then to get down below and see what's actually going on.
Okay, guys, I think we're ready. Let's go get kitted up and get in the water.
Cool.
Awesome.
Let's
Let's
go.
do this. I'm ready for it. Let's go.
I'm a firm believer in growing outside of our comfort zones, and suggesting to Jace that we should go and freedive in the far, far deep south of Cape Point in 3,000 meters of water definitely got her outside of her comfort zone.
Yeah, it was quite a different experience coming out into the deep. I think it's quite hard to comprehend the sheer amount of space that's beneath you. And then like it comes into your mind quickly, like, oh my gosh, you know, this is 3,000 feet below me.
Freediving does come with risks. The most common, the biggest risk is shallow water blackout, and would most typically happen when people are coming back to the surface, and with a lack of oxygen, in a very simplistic explanation, you will have a blackout. But we will never be taking people to that extreme. We are probably only pushing people halfway to the reserve that they still have, or the capacity that they have, with the exercises that we do with the wildlife.
The human body is incredibly adapted for being underwater, and our body responds to that. From the very second our face touches water, our body morphs into a kind of inner seal. Our mammalian dive response takes over, and we don't control it. It literally takes over, and we become a diving mammal. The second your face touches the water, your heart rate slows down. This is called bradycardia, the slowing down of the heart rate, to conserve oxygen. The second thing that happens is vasoconstriction, a constricting of the blood vessels in the legs and arms, where the blood is shunted back to the core where it's most needed, getting pumped to the brain to oxygenate what needs to be oxygenated when we're diving. And thirdly, our spleen actually responds in an unbelievable way, something that was discovered first in seals, called the spleen response, where the spleen constricts to around half its original size, squirting out oxygen-rich blood flow into our bloodstream. So it's like a kind of blood doping, except that it's completely legal, and we do it without thinking about doing it. And slowly, slowly, we turn into a diving mammal, able to spend more time underwater freediving.
Nice. Well done. That was so great. I love just seeing you getting more and more relaxed and staying down longer and getting deeper. It's great. Freediving is so much about the process and not about the goal.
Yeah.
And as soon as we stop focusing on like where we're headed,
Yeah.
it just opens up and depth just comes.
I just want gills. You know?
Give me gills.
Give me gills.
Exactly.
After more time in the water with Hanley, Jess is better prepared to push herself even further. The blue sharks have turned up. Will she remember to keep calm when she's completely surrounded?
Okay guys, there has been a change in the weather. This is the Cape of Storms after all, and things change daily. Yeah. We have been chumming for an hour, so we have got sharks behind the boat, and they are inquisitive, and they are friendly, and they will come up to you. So just keep calm, you know, just don't worry about it. They may even rub themselves along your body, come and nuzzle in a bit.
Come in for a little cuddle.
There's nothing wrong with giving them a little push away. The only thing you don't really want to do
fingers first, or what?
Is keep your fingers to yourselves.
So not, I mean, obviously we're not going to, I'm probably not going to have the desire to, but one shouldn't reach out
Only
to
if
them.
you feel like they're just too much in your space, you can push them away.
You can push them away,
But,
and
yeah, it'll be fine.
it'll be fine.
And keep an eye on each other for our
Look at that
freediving
fin,
stuff.
look at that fin.
Gorgeous.
Oh, we're
Oh my
in.
gosh, I'm so
We're on.
excited. Okay, you guys ready?
Ready?
Yeah.
Masks, fins, snorkels,
Yeah.
white belts, gloves.
Everything.
Got everything.
That's
This is incredible. Look at this guy right here.
Yeah.
Okay, Jess, I'm right behind you. Good luck. I was intimidated by sharks, I'll be frank. It just seems completely unnatural to me. I have encountered them. Most of my encounters have been while surfing, and when you're surfing and you see a shark, it's terrifying. You just want to get out of the water immediately.
So you're busy trying to concentrate on all of these things, and the next thing, there's sharks swimming all around you. I actually was like really getting out of breath sometimes, like forgetting, you know, and just sort of looking at them all around me and then looking behind me to see if they were there. And yeah, it was It was a bit overwhelming sometimes with them, you know.
It's quite overwhelming.
You just got a fin slap ready.
It was just great to see her experience that and see her just suck all that up, because it really is an intense ocean experience when you're that far from land and in so much water.
In some ways, I mean, I suppose I did expect to see some of the marine life that I did, but I never expected to interact with it in the way that I did.
It's always a toss-up for me about which part of the adventure I enjoy the most, whether the actual encounter with the mammal or the marine animal, or seeing how much the adventurers enjoy it and how much they get out of it and what they take away from that experience. Both of them are so rewarding, and it just makes my job great.
Holy moly, this is incredible!
I did not expect to see that many sharks in the water.
Aren't they beautiful? 20 blue sharks. Perfect.
Yeah.
And how blue is the water?
Perfect.
It's unbelievable that we're still like,
So good.
we're still in South African waters. Well, Cape waters.
Yeah.
And it's so blue.
It feels like we could be in the tropics, like
Yeah,
the Caribbean.
completely. And you were doing some nice free dives. You're definitely inspired by free diving with
It was
sharks.
amazing. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
The ocean adventurer is full of surprises, and Jess has now had an encounter with a multitude of sharks. Not bad for a day's work. With another day dawning, the adventure continues. The ocean adventurer and her crew are driven by desire to conserve and protect the marine wilderness. When trawlers are spotted on the horizon, David feels compelled to take a closer look.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Hey. I've got a little idea. It's a little bit off the wall, but could be an interesting freediving experience.
Yeah?
Just spotted a trawler, and maybe we can jump in behind and see what's in the bag, around the bag. Could be something very interesting.
Sure.
Okay.
Is it safe? What are the risks?
The risks are getting tangled up in the net and getting pulled in as a serious bycatch. Realistically speaking, the water is very clean,
Yeah.
so we'll have a very clear visual on the net. We won't go in the water, the visibility is bad,
Yeah.
but we'll have a very good vis on the net, and you'll be able to keep your distance and not be caught up in
Cool.
in it. If there are sharks, they will be feeding on the bycatch, but that's no more or less risky than being in sharks elsewhere.
Totally.
So
Sure.
No, I
the
think
same
it
risk level there.
sounds great. For safety reasons, I don't think we should take Jess with us yet. It sounds pretty full on.
I agree completely with you. For Roddy as well, I think it's just for the advanced freedivers.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
And we get going.
Cool.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Awesome, guys.
What are we doing this for?
No sane reason whatsoever. We definitely want to see the biodiversity behind the bag. As the bag starts getting pulled up, the purse is drawn closed, and the bag will start to merge right behind the trawler. And all the little bits of fish that fall out the net are going to attract a huge variety of wildlife.
At what point are we going to go ahead and jump in?
We're going to wait till we see the bag coming close to the surface, and we're going to drop close to the bag. We don't want to be anywhere near getting entangled in it.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to be bycatch.
Wait, what do you think about this boat that's trawling? They look like they're fishing.
they're fishing. They want to pick up one of the big yellowfin tuna. That'll be sitting around, taking off the little bits of fish that fall out of the net.
We gotta look out for the net, we gotta look out for the sharks, and we gotta look out for these guys fishing for the sharks.
Yes.
Other than that,
Okay.
nothing to worry about.
So how does this trawling work?
They basically have two steel doors, which is attached to a net, which they lower all the way down to the sea floor. And then they scrape these doors with this net all along the bottom of the floor, gather all the fish, everything in its path, and then they haul it up to the surface, which is what is happening now, which is why the ship is slightly slanted downwards, because it's going to be so heavy at the moment.
So how much of the fish do they actually use?
Well, most of the trawlers here are fishing for hake, but you're going to see when it comes up that there's going to be a lot of different species. And this is the problem with the trawlers, is because they're not species selective. They catch everything in their path, small fish, big fish, whatever is down there.
What David and the team are attempting is insanely dangerous. This industrial fishing trawler is about to pull in its huge haul. There are so many ways this could go wrong, from getting tangled in the nets, or drowning, or even a shark attack. Despite their collective years of diving experience, they could be endangering their lives. The team takes the risky plunge. Underwater, they are confronted by a shocking sight of human greed.
Oh my God! Huge!
Thousands of fish are indiscriminately caught in the trawler net, and in the wake of a trail of death and destruction. Overfishing is the biggest threat to marine biodiversity today. Commercial fishing vessels are taking wildlife from the sea at rates which are too high for fish species to replace themselves. As a result, some populations are on the brink of extinction. Bycatch, or marine animals that are caught unintentionally, are also heavily affected.
A bit disturbing to see the destruction that the net causes. Oh, it's just all churned up, the water goes dirty, all little bits of fish, broken fish, half fish, dazed fish with their swim bladders exposed, they're sort of half dead swimming around. Seals are gorging themselves silly. I didn't see any shark or tuna on this dive, but that's the best thing to see first thing in the morning.
What happens once it goes onto the boat?
It's processed on the boat. They will generally throw away the things that they don't want and keep the species that they do want. And the reason why they do that is because they can only take a certain amount back to shore, and they can only take certain species and certain lengths, and etc., etc. So they have to process everything on the boat, so when they get back to shore, they're actually meeting the criteria.
Oh my gosh, this is so much fish. This is really devastating.
And until you see how many fish it is, you don't understand.
No, you don't.
No?
And they're doing this, a couple of times a day, right?
Yeah, and I mean, there are a number of boats in the area doing the same thing.
Oh, I can see them moving still.
But this is why we have such a problem with monitoring fish populations. It's because all of the fish that are being thrown away is not being documented. So how can we monitor the populations, especially when we're depending on the data from trawlers and from other commercial fishing boats? How can we monitor the populations when they're not even documenting half of what they're catching?
You know, I've always known what trawlers do and how they work, but actually seeing it, it's quite heartbreaking. It was really hard to see that. It gave me a sense of desperation, actually, that there's not really enough in the ocean to do that. So it was hard to watch, yeah.
Oh, David,
Hey, honey, how was that dive?
that was probably one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in my life.
Industrial fishing is not pretty.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I've heard so much about bycatch and the waste, but to actually see it, like moving in front of you, like this horror show spectacle, it's the most disturbing thing. You see all these fish with their bladders burst and they're like dying and dead in the net and floating around, and oh, no, that was horrible, horrible, horrible. No, I mean, if we want to keep eating fish, we need to get better at not destroying everything else in its way. I'm not quite sure what I was expecting getting in the water this morning, but nothing could have prepared me for that level of destruction and just how disturbing it was to see that.
You can tell where that net's been. It's not been in the middle of the water, it's just been pulling straight along the bottom.
But at one stage, I'm sure I could see at least 50 meters of net with fish in it, and that's what I could see, and then it kept coming. So what, like?
I would say it was probably the length of the trawler itself, the net.
I'm just all that waste of all those little creatures just dead.
Yeah, that's a little too much. It's a little too much for me to take in.
Shaken by the scene of devastation, David wants to come and share their underwater experience with the biodiversity expert.
Hey, Mary.
Hey.
I brought you a couple of presents from the deep.
Fantastic. Was this falling out of the net, or was it?
This is all bycatch. Came off the back of the net.
Okay.
Some of it dropping out the bottom of the net.
Wow, starfish. This is definitely not something you'd eat.
There were hundreds of these falling out the bottom of the net, all these mollusks.
You can see here that it's very interesting that they've all exploded. It's from coming from so deep and then coming to the top. The changes in pressure, literally all their internal organs, their eyes are just popping out and exploding. And I mean, not only does it reduce the quality and the economic value of these fish, but it also means that any of the bycatch has no chance of survival. What was it actually like being underneath the water and diving in that?
But to see it up close, it's really disturbing. I mean, you're seeing thousands of these fish with distended swim bladders, eyes popping out, broken, absolutely useless. So much wastage, and it's incredibly destructive.
And this is just a fraction of the bycatch.
Yeah, correct.
Like,
within our area here, we've got 5-6 more trawlers doing the thing twice a day. So, in a small area of the world, this is happening globally on a daily basis. It makes you think twice about fish fingers.
It certainly does.
After the shock of the trawler dive, everyone is keen to put the experience behind them. Luckily, an uplifting encounter is just around the corner.
Pilot whales!
What?
Whales! Come guys, get them, get going!
I didn't even think about seeing pilot whales. And the next moment we're sitting on the side of the boat and it's like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, I don't know how many, there could have been over 100.
This is the thing that I love the most about our water off here. You never know what you're going to get.
Inspired by the diving opportunity of a lifetime, Jess and the crew are in high spirits. The name pilot whale is thought to originate from the notion that the pod are piloted by a leader whale. The family structure reflects the highly social nature of these whales. Group sizes can vary, ranging from 20 to 90 individuals.
So many babies!
I was actually so excited when we first saw the pod that I jumped in the water. I hadn't zipped my wetsuit up. So I was like, I'm getting in the water, I don't care if I'm not ready, and I just dived in. In the excitement of the moment, it's very tricky to get down and hold your breath because you're swimming after the whales, you want to keep up with them, So at the same time, to stay calm and relaxed and focused and trying to get into that meditative state where you can do a nice deep dive and feel comfortable is tricky. I would feel like I'd been down deep and that I'd been holding on for quite a while, and then I'd see Handy another 15 meters deeper and David even deeper. So I'll be like, oh, I've got to keep practicing.
Yeah, it's so much easier to keep up with them with the monofin, and they also tend to be a little curious because I move like them. So I always find that when I'm diving with whales, I choose to wear the monofin, and when I'm diving with sharks, I use the bifins.
So cool!
They were everywhere, and all of a sudden they kind of appear out of the blue, and they're just looking at you. They have these really blue eyes with a white space around them, and they just look at you from the side, and it really is checking you out. It wants to know what you are. What are you doing here? I haven't seen you. What kind of creature is this?
It knew that we were watching, and knew we were curious in them, and it was curious in us.
Yeah, they come closer because they want to know what you are.
Unbelievable creatures. Pilot whales are more intelligent than we can begin to understand. So little is known of their behavior. They're very, very hard to do research on because they're not that easy to track and to actually be social with. They're quite happy in their own company. They've even had a bad reputation in the past, been known to pull divers down and get aggressive because they don't like being interfered with. So to have the opportunity to actually get in the water with over 100 whales, tiny babies, bigger juveniles, and be accepted and be allowed that privilege of swimming along with the pod and actually being able to see these animals coming underneath us, turn onto their belly, which is the most I am vulnerable, I trust you communication you can get from an animal, and swim along with them in their movement at their pace. I'll never forget that.
They were so receptive to us. They were just cruising. They allowed us to get in close and in amongst them. So that was a fantastic experience.
Wow!
I was definitely very nervous. It kind of like there was quite a bit of distance, and then they started turning to get a better look. So they were a little bit more interested too, or maybe more comfortable. I don't know. I don't really know what a pilot whale's thinking, but I was actually at a loss for words when I got out of the boat. It was incredible. David's fulfilled the challenge I set him, and more. I don't think I really expected to see what I did, you know, and I feel like I've learnt something new about the ocean, a lot new about the ocean, and I feel that my relationship with it is closer, and I feel like, you know, that I care about it even a lot more.
The threats facing our ocean are so much more apparent than people think. You know, we stand on the shore and we gaze out at the sea, and it's so vast that it doesn't cross our mind that it can be at risk. How can something so big be in danger? It seems so incredibly invulnerable. And I think that the reason for our ocean degradation is that human beings have lost their connection with nature and have lost their connection with the ocean. If I say elephant, zebra, giraffe, people have a picture in their head, or grizzly bear versus polar bear. But who knows the difference between a humpback whale and a southern right whale, a heaviside dolphin and a dusky dolphin? We need to paint a picture for these animals, because if we don't, who'll miss them if they're gone?
The bigger message of all the stuff that we do, we are trying to create appreciation of the ocean. So one of my personal beliefs is you can't really create conservationists by drumming in hardline messages about what is happening to the environment and what is happening to species. Rather, try and create interest and love for animals and the ocean. And by creating an ocean lover, you're going to create an ocean conservationist, hopefully.
Next time on Ocean Adventurer.
I have a deep love for humpbacks, and they're here. They come right past here to go to their breeding grounds, so I think there's a good chance we might see one.
There it is, coming up right in front of them.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh, they're so close.
Looks like they're in the perfect spot.
For those with a passion for the sea, who seek to discover what lies beneath, comes the opportunity of a lifetime to explore the underwater paradise on board the Ocean Adventurer. Each episode, Captain David De Villiers and his crew, First Mate Roddy Tor and international freedivers Hanley Prinsloo and Peter Marshall meet up with an adventurer on a personal quest. To investigate unparalleled biodiversity and wildlife in the unique marine ecosystem at the spiritual southernmost tip of Africa. The Cape of Storms is surrounded by hidden reefs and formidable seas. It's a place where legends are born, where mariners share tales of ghostly ships crewed by tormented sailors. But for the Ocean Adventurer and her intrepid crew, it is the place to get closer than ever before to the animals of the deep. It's the place for full immersion and daring escapades. It's the ultimate playground. All aboard the Ocean Adventurer. This time on Ocean Adventurer, one ocean lover takes the plunge into the deep end. Although his life is connected to the sea, his relationship to the marine environment is based on fear. A fear that David and the crew aim to help him overcome.
Another one deep down by the chum bucket.
Deep diver.
I never thought that I would actually go out at sea, in the deep sea, and dive with sharks.
Expertly steering his boat around the rugged Cape coastline, taking our adventurers on a voyage of discovery, is Captain David De Villiers.
I grew up here in the Cape of Storms. It's been my playground since I was just a wee little guy.
South African freediving record holder Hanley Prinsloo has committed her life to conserving and protecting the ocean. She will safely guide our adventurers into its depths.
I love the ocean. I love everything that is beneath the waves. And when you take one breath and go down, a whole world opens up for you. And the amount of freediving I've done around the world has just led me to truly believe that it needs to be protected.
Peter Marshall is an American world champion swimmer. Hanley and Peter share an affinity with water. They're a match made in the ocean.
Year in and year out of competing on the US team, I got a little bit over being in the pool, and being around the ocean and diving with Hanley, just made me fall in love with the water again.
Hanley and Peter are great to have on the team. They bring so much professionalism with them, and it brings a lot of confidence to the guys that we're introducing to the environment, that they know they've got this incredible team surrounding them.
Also on board is David's right-hand man, surfer Roddy Tor.
My relationship with the ocean goes back a long way. I started surfing at the age of 7, and I did a lot of diving from a young age as well. My dad was a big diver. He instilled the passion for the sea and the love of the sea in me, I guess. So I've always had a very close relationship with the sea. And I've never really pushed myself in diving at all. I've always just stayed well within my limits. And now recently I did this freediving course with Peter and Hanley, and that's really taken my diving to another level.
At the tip of Africa, the oceans teem with life. Below the surface, there is unmatched biodiversity, brought about by upwelling that pushes nutrients to the surface from the ocean floor. The circle of life begins with the tiniest of creatures. Here in this watery wilderness, plankton flourish, attracting fish. These in turn attract larger animals like seals and whales. At the top of the food chain are the apex predators, the sharks. There are over 100 different species in South African waters. Around the Cape, you're likely to see anything from the smallest pajama sharks to the largest great whites. One of the most unique encounters you can have is with a sevengill shark. Very little is known about these animals, and False Bay is one of the only places in the world where these sharks can be seen. They live in the kelp forests around the Cape and attract large numbers of scuba divers. They may seem docile, but for animals that have a similar diet to great whites, appearances can be deceiving. Scientists are currently working on raising the profile of the sevengill, as commercial exploitation of these sharks is not restricted in South Africa, and they're vulnerable to fishing, having previously been targeted. However, sharks share their environment with an expanding human population, many of whom in this part of the world love the ocean just as much as these sleek hunters. Sharks fascinate and terrify people, none more than the great white shark, with a fearsome reputation as a man-eater. For our seasoned crew, sharks inspire awe and respect. But someone who has a very different relationship with sharks is our adventurer, local shark spotter and lifesaver, Monwa. Born and bred in Cape Town in a township near Muizenberg, he spent his childhood swimming and playing at the beach during the school holidays. Being a strong swimmer, he was recruited as a lifesaver as a teenager. After all the time he spent at the seaside, he still did not know much about marine wildlife.
The sharks and stuff like that, nah, we knew very little about them. We didn't even know that there were sharks. We thought maybe like sharks were things that were like existed in places like America and all of those places, but not in Cape Town. Up until 2004, actually, when I got to hear there was a shark bite in Muizenberg. Late in the same year, the shark spotting program came about, and that's how I came in as a shark spotter. I remember my very first day, I had 3 sharks on my site. Well, it was my very first sharks to see, like in real life. It was quite a good experience. It's like I expected them, like if you see one, they will just bite to eat people, of which that was never the case. That was, I was so surprised with all of that. And I saw them cruising, just minding their daily business. So I just look at shark bites as just one unfortunate incident. And at the same time, we need to consider the number of people that uses the water on a daily basis. And you look at the sharks out there. You know, I think if we had sharks as man-eaters, we were definitely going to have shark bites almost every day.
Muizenberg Beach is probably one of our most popular surfing beaches, and what's really interesting is to know that the sharks that we have in Cape Town, the great white sharks in False Bay, are always swimming up and down the back line, and there have probably been 2 or 3 shark attacks here over the last 10 years, which if you think about it is not a lot considering the amount of people in the water and the amount of sharks that swim here probably on a daily basis. The shark spotters they're really effective when the visibility of the water is good, but generally speaking, sharks would, because they ambush predators, would prefer slightly murkier water. So when the shark spotters are not seeing them, then you would think that there would be more shark attacks in murky water. But as you can see from Muizenberg Beach, I mean, today there are probably 100 people in the water, and there's no real danger. I had an interesting experience here about 2 years ago. I was on my stand-up paddleboard, which gives you a bit of height above water, so you can see into the water. And because I've got a really trained eye, I made out the shape of a shark that swam underneath the board. It was quite hard to distinguish, so it was easy to see understand that the shark spotters wouldn't have seen it. And I also know sharks' behavior, and I could see it was just lazily swimming through. It was not really in any kind of feeding mode, it was just curious. And so I paddled after it, and I followed it. It swam underneath maybe 20 or 30 surfers, and no one knew. I mean, they could not see the shark, and there was no stress, there was no alarm bells, and the shark swam off out of the pattern and on its merry way. Unfortunately, sharks have this terrible reputation of man-eaters. As we get to know more and more about sharks, we know that this is not true. And this is so apparent here in a place like Muizenberg, where the surfers and the sharks coexist quite happily.
The Ocean Adventurer crew sets off around the Cape of Storms on their mission, but it's not long before they're sidetracked by a pod of dolphins. These ocean lovers never pass up a chance encounter like this, and they take a quick dip before they go off to meet their adventurer. It's also a good opportunity for Roddy to get in much needed free dive practice.
I've had a lot of encounters with dolphins while surfing. So I've been, if you surf up and down the east coast of South Africa, we get big schools of dolphins running up and down the coast, but then, you don't really get to see them underwater. So it's a completely unique experience when you see them underwater.
Heaviside dolphins are usually more timid than their friendly cousins, but hopefully they're in the mood to play today. Endemic to the west coast of southern Africa, these small cetaceans track the Goldbenguela current from the coast of Namibia down to the Cape. They may share their dark colouring with orcas, but differ so wildly in size and behaviour that the two are never mistaken. At an average length of 1.7 metres and weight of only 70 kilograms, it's easy to see why. They feed on fish like hake and kingfish, and the odd octopus. Preferring shallower waters less than 100 meters in depth, small pods of heavisides are often spotted close to the shore.
It's been a dream of mine to dive with the heaviside dolphin. They are so special, so small. They look more like porpoises than dolphins really, and they're endemic to South Africa, so they're like our national dolphin, basically.
Heavisides ahead. Okay, neutral.
I thought we were going to jump in the water and the dolphins would disappear immediately. And we got in and I didn't see anything. And then all of a sudden a dolphin came shooting past in front of me.
Hey Roddy, what are you seeing?
Wow, that was incredible. The dolphin just swam past like half a meter in front of me. It came in so fast. Just came flying past, didn't turn, it came around on the other side.
I don't know if you can tell, but Roddy's having fun.
It's fun to do anything with Roddy because he's very easily entertained, but I think he really appreciated having dolphins want to play with us like they did. They were really curious and really playful, and it was so awesome just to see him embrace that and see him experience these dolphins for the first time.
Wow, that was incredible.
I think in general surfers are incredible watermen and they have an incredible understanding of the ocean, but they don't often go below the surface and actually see what's down there. So with Roddy, it's amazing just to see such an incredible surfer and waterman who's experienced so much of the ocean actually come down and see what's going on below.
an amazing experience to get in the water with Hanley, to follow her around, because she's pretty much talking to the dolphins the whole time. So that's quite a unique experience. I've never heard someone sort of singing to call the dolphins in, and they really liked it. It seemed like they wanted to come and play.
You can see the heavy-sides leaping clear of the water. What did you guys see?
It was amazing. There was probably like 7 or 8 of them, and they were jumping and interacting.
That was incredible. The water's a little green, but they came so close. The viz was not bad.
Could you see the white markings under the belly?
They're so beautiful.
The white really shines through when you're underwater. You see it clearly.
Yeah.
Beautiful dolphins, eh?
Gorgeous.
Absolutely incredible.
Back on land, Monwa has his eyes on the ocean, but it's time for David to get him out to sea. David's mission is clear. He wants to convert Monwa from shark spotter to shark lover.
Hey Monwa,
How's it?
how are you?
Good.
Very good to meet you. This is so cool from up here. I can come see your place of work and see what you guys see.
Yes, this is what we are about, and this is what we do, and just sit up here patiently and just be on the lookout.
Take me through what happens here on the beach. I mean, do you normally see sharks coming in from the sides, or how would the spotting actually work?
They mostly come from the side. They tend to be swimming right across the bay, and it's very rare where you get them swimming from the deep straight down. You have the surfers laying on the inside and the sharks swimming right on the outside, quite far out. And like 1 or 2 sharks will decide to come in and just have a look and go back and just carry on with its daily business.
And you've got such a clear view from up here, so when the guys are sitting in the water, they can't see what you're seeing. So it must be incredibly frustrating if they're not heeding the warning. Have you ever witnessed a shark attack?
Yeah, unfortunately I have. We knew that the shark was there, and we did everything we could. The flags were flying, and all the necessary notice was there. And the guy just ignored our call and carried on swimming. Then he lost his leg. But luckily, we managed to get him out of the water, and I administered first aid, and that actually saved his life. So emergency services were on their way, arrived in time, and they took over.
I grew up here surfing in Muizenberg and around the peninsula, but I also spent a lot of time in the water, diving amongst the kelp beds and scuba diving the reefs. I grew up with a different appreciation of sharks. I've seen them always as incredibly beautiful creatures, very efficient, apex predators. So I'd love to take you diving to go show you the sharks from my perspective.
Yeah, well, I think I'm up for it.
Awesome.
I think I can give it a shot.
I don't want to drop you in the deep end, so we did some incredible diving last couple of days with some heavy-side dolphins. So what I suggest is you come with us, we take you out on the boat tomorrow, we go find the dolphins, get you used to jumping off the boat into open ocean water near some marine wildlife, something a little bit more friendly than sharks. And when you're feeling comfortable, we'll take you out to the deep and get you in the water with the blue sharks.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. So
feel good about that?
Yeah, I'm very good. I'm feeling very good about it, especially the dolphin part.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go do this.
Cool. Well, I had a conversation with my girlfriend about me going to dive with blue sharks. And she just looked at me asking, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm serious. I'm going to do it." I looked at it as something that is exciting to do and something new, never done it before. I think I just needed a bit of a push.
Monwa is about to embark on a life-changing experience.
Ocean adventure is all about taking what I've gained from the ocean over all the years and finding ways to share that with other people, getting them to experience that. You know, that's my driving passion.
As the ocean adventurer heads out, a thick fog rolls in, cloaking the bay in a hazy shroud.
Navigation warnings and traffic lists. Coastal warning 319. Coastal warning 319.
They're here. They're right in front of Monwa.
Oh, check it.
Monwa, look.
In spite of the fog, David manages to locate a pod of heavy-side dolphins for Monwa to swim with. Unable to see the water clearly has Monwa's mind racing. Are more than just dolphins swimming around out there. Today they'll focus on snorkeling in preparation for his first free dive with the sharks.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Okay, guys.
Just put the starboard bow here.
Fins, mask, snorkels,
Let's go.
Woohoo! Monwa, with these guys, we try and get in front of them. I'm gonna go down and make little dolphin sounds.
Okay.
And then hopefully they'll come and play with us.
Yeah, just hope for that.
Mano, don't forget your weight belt here, buddy. You need this or you're not going to be able to get down and see the dolphins.
Okay.
Okay. Straight ahead. You've got to try and keep up with Hanley. She's pretty darn fast.
Channel your inner dolphin, Roddy. Channel your inner dolphin.
I'm channeling.
Stay close together in this awesome, beautiful fog.
Yeah, they're just here on the starboard side.
Wow,
There you
this
go.
is swell, you
Awesome.
guys. Okay.
All good?
Good. Yeah.
Yes,
Awesome. Darby, we're ready when you are.
Okay, engines are neutral. 3, 2, 1, dives away.
With the rubber duck barely perceptible from the deck, Peter is concerned for the diver's safety.
David, the conditions are worsening here. The visibility looks really bad. How does it look where you guys are?
Yeah, Peter, the weather's, the fog's closed in.
But I've still got a visual on the boat, so we're still safe at this point in time, over.
Okay, that's good to hear. As long as you guys feel safe, we don't want to lose anybody today. Come on, let's go, they're over here.
The excitement was there chasing those dolphins. But I think the most worrying part was the visibility. It was poor. It was so poor, very poor. The furthest I could see was my hand, and that was it. White sharks, they hit by surprise. They camouflage themselves. So that was a perfect conditions for sharks, you know. And I'm swimming there, I'm thinking, do I look like a seal? You know, could this be the time that now I will be mistaken for a seal?
David, can you still see them?
25 meters in front of you guys, keep swimming.
Let's go, Manuel, let's go this way.
I strongly believe if you see a shark, there is a chance of you surviving. I mean, they surprise predators, you know, they hit by surprise, and if you're going to be taken, you're not going to see it.
Okay, you're on it, underneath you.
It may be misty up above, but down below the divers are treated to a moment of clarity.
So are you guys actually seeing anything? What's the action like?
Yeah, Peter, we've got the dolphins underneath the guys. They're sort of swimming around them, circling a bit.
Yeah, Hanley's talking dolphin. calling them over, but otherwise, all good. Divers look happy, over.
Okay, if Hanley's talking dolphin, then things are fine.
Monroe, wow, that was amazing, man. Well done.
Cool,
Great
hey?
dive.
So
Yeah,
cool.
so much fun.
Yeah, dolphins are, they're a little more approachable than sharks.
Okay. So you say that was your first time?
Yeah.
And you've obviously you've seen them 100 times from the lookout tower above Muizenberg there?
Yeah, absolutely, I have.
Have you dreamed of getting in the water with them?
Nah.
Yeah. There's a bit of honesty for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like I had to take it, and I think I realized that I had to challenge myself a little. It's been a while, so...
Certainly not an easy thing coming out here in this weather, in these conditions. We can't see land, we see nothing around us. It's dark, it's misty, the water's dark, it's deep.
I enjoy being in the water, but you know, sometimes
not so
your
deep.
mind takes you places. You know, you start to think, okay, what's around me and all of that. So.
Well done.
Yeah, great job. Jeez.
Steven Spielberg's 1975 action thriller Jaws cast the great white shark in the role of a man-eater, a description it has struggled to shed. Great white shark attacks on humans are rare, and fatalities even more so. Great whites have the largest geographical distribution of any fish. They're common around the coast of South Africa, with population clusters forming around Cape fur seal colonies. These sharks can reach lengths of between 4.5 and 6 meters and can weigh up to 2 tons. Shark specialist Alison Koch wants to find a way for humans and sharks to peacefully coexist. Her research focuses on how sharks shape False Bay and what would happen if they disappeared.
Alison, you're probably one of the most influential shark researchers in Cape Town over the last decade. And you'll tell us a little bit more about how we're slowly changing people's attitudes towards great white sharks.
I think one of the big problems is the unknown. And the little bits of information that people get are usually around shark attacks and the fearsome side of the white shark. And there's a lot more to the great white. It's a very complex, very intelligent animal. And when I started the research, we knew nothing about the population in Cape Town except that it visited the seal colony and ate seals. But it's very difficult to research an animal that can swim from here to Australia and is quite mysterious in many ways.
And you brought us a sample of a of a tag.
Over the last 10 years, I've tried to identify what the population size is and where the sharks are at different times of the year and why they're coming into certain areas. And so we use technology where we can to better understand where they are and why they're there. And this tag actually is a satellite tag that I put on a 3-meter white shark last year. And I tagged it at Seal Island in False Bay. And 4 months later, it popped off in Mozambique.
Great white sharks do not live in one place permanently. They travel to far-flung feeding and breeding grounds. Tagging has become an essential tool amongst scientists trying to understand these mysterious migration patterns. Research has shown that sharks make epic transoceanic journeys with great whites tagged in South African waters, swimming all the way to Australia. Freediving with great white sharks is extremely risky in the murky waters around the Cape, so David plans to get Monwa into the water with smaller pelagic species, the blue shark.
The pelagic sharks, like your blues and your makos, are some of the most vulnerable shark species. They're facing some of the most heaviest fishing pressures with long liners targeting them increasingly so. And the blue sharks and the makos are really interesting because blue sharks are not a very high quality species. In fact, their meat is very low quality, so they're not a desired species, in fact, for fishing. But what happens is that the blue sharks, because they are still being caught so abundantly,
their fins get used, and so their meat gets exported perhaps to third world countries, and the fins get exported and they are profitable. But we do know that from around the world, these species have really suffered significantly from a population level. So it's one of those questions that the Department of Fisheries scientists are working very, very hard on to try and find out what's happening to the population, because they are being targeted so heavily out there off Cape Point.
It's the dawn of a new day. Now that Monwa has a practice dive under his belt, the ocean adventurer heads out 30 miles offshore. Here, the cold Atlantic meets the warm waters of the Indian Ocean, creating fertile fishing grounds, often trawled for hake. It's also a perfect hunting ground for blue sharks. Roddy and David are chumming the water with a mixture of sardines and fish oil to attract the blues to the boat. Not only will this be Monwa's first close encounter with sharks, he's never been so far out to sea that he's lost sight of land.
I can't wait, and the other thing is this, I can't believe that I'm going to be in the water 35 miles offshore with sharks.
That's pretty wild, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty wild, and it doesn't get better than this.
Yeah. So today we're going to be doing some basic freediving, and the main things are you got to pay attention to what your ears are doing, whether you can equalize the pressure in your ear, what your sinuses are doing, and then you just got to pay attention to your breath. So if first thing first, can I just see how you're equalizing? Gentle breath in, gentle breath out. You can see my nostrils, they've flared out a little bit because I'm just gently pushing through my nose. I'm not using my throat. I'm just gently pressing there. Okay, and just pick your chin up for me. Okay. Yeah, you kind of hear a whoop in your ears.
Just basically breathing through your ears.
Yeah, okay. That's it. So we just need to pay attention to that as we dive down. We're going to make sure we take a very deliberate breath. We're going to take a breath first into our belly, then we're going to breathe into our chest, and then we're going to top up into our shoulders. So it'll look like this. You breathe. Nice and relaxed. And there's going to be a few sharks around us, so you want to make sure you're staying calm. Keep your hands maybe under your armpits. Keep your hands. They don't want to look like minnows.
And what happens when they start charging?
Well, luckily these sharks, these blue sharks, they're really gentle sharks to dive with. You don't have to worry about them charging. They're just going to be slowly cruising around, and they're really curious. So they'll come up and they'll rub their face on you, but they're not. It's not something you have to worry about.
No, it's not something aggressive. It's just out of curiosity.
Yeah, most of the time it's just they want to bump. They want to bump you, see what's going on.
Okay. So you will be right next to me, right?
I will be with you the whole time.
Okay. I think you've got more questions. So at the moment, there's nothing I can think of. But you're obviously going to be communicating more while in the water as well.
Sure, we'll get in the water. We'll make sure our mask and snorkel and fins are fitting right. We're not going to throw you into 10 meters right from the beginning. We're going to gradually step it down. So we'll start out. We'll just do a nice, easy dive to 2 meters.
I think even if you wanted to, I don't think you'll be able to get me further than 10 meters, or even all the way to 10 meters.
No, that's fine.
So I think I'm going to have more fun right on the surface. And
cool. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thanks to the chum, the sharks are circling the boat. Roddy is becoming more confident in his freediving ability. He's sent in to check the conditions ahead of Monwa.
I was intimidated by sharks, I'll be frank, I'll be honest. I was a little bit scared to get in the water with sharks. It just seems completely unnatural to me. I'm not like Handy or David, who've done a lot of swimming with sharks. I have encountered them. Most of my encounters have been while surfing, and when you're surfing and you see a shark, it's terrifying. You just want to get out the water immediately. It was a nice sort of controlled environment where you could go down deeper and get to depth. And I found when I was getting down there and I was underneath them and looking up and seeing the light above and the sharks 20 or 30 around at the same time, that was really quite special.
Frequenting the deep, temperate and tropical waters of the world's oceans, these sharks are relatively small in size. The largest recorded measurement is only 3.8 meters. The blue shark has a slender, sleek-looking body with large eyes and a conical snout that is longer than the width of its mouth. Opportunistic feeders, they hunt bony fish and squid and can be found feeding on mammalian carrion. Along with many other sharks, blues are a near-threatened species. If overfishing and unscrupulous shark finning practices are not curbed soon, the population will collapse.
All right, Manuel, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go for it. Any questions?
Nothing now.
No?
Yeah.
We'll see when we
I
get
think I'm
on.
just excited of like just getting out there, and yeah, the rest will follow, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
great.
So.
David has piqued the shark's curiosity. These sleek movers are hyper-aware of his presence, and some of them are coming in a little close for comfort to get a better look.
How are you feeling? Nervous at all?
That's how I feel. Can barely breathe, so yeah.
It's just pressing on your...
Yeah, it's pressing on my chest.
We don't need that then, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I think my first proper free dive probably happened in a quarry. It's this weirdest thing when you start free diving, that you're encountered with all these irrational fears. So you dive down and you know you have more than enough breath hold to get to 10, 15, 20 meters. But then you feel like a little kid and you're scared of the dark again. But the more I did it, the more you just feel this sense of peace when you're down there. And it's addictive. So the more you experience that, the more you want. We'll give our mask a good spit. I'll help you at the end so that you can...
No worries, as long as you're going to remain right next to me.
Yeah, I'll be right with you. We'll be right next to each other. Looking good. Perfect. All right, let's go. You ready? You okay?
Munwa falters at the precipice when he catches a glimpse of the sharks below.
I did have a bit of doubt when we were throwing him in the water with 50 sharks swimming around the boat.
Nevertheless, a few moments later, he takes the plunge. Surrounded by sharks, Monwa sticks close to the surface.
Sure, hey? Talk about being thrown in the deep end.
Absolutely, wow.
It's tough surface conditions though. Like the whole thing with freediving is to relax so much so that you can go down and go look at the sharks. But in these surface conditions, you're literally just like holding on to the buoy.
Looks like they're getting ready for a dive now.
Deep belly breathing. I just want him to relax.
Just got to calm down.
Yeah, exactly.
Not think about the sharks too much. All right.
Wow, that was awesome.
Nice.
Nice dive, Manoir.
Oh, you must be so stoked.
Sheesh, that was awesome.
Interacting with sharks so closely was wow. They actually come to you, they just made it easy, you know. They're so inquisitive, they just want to be around you.
So well. I mean, his first ever open water dive with 20 sharks around him, 3,000 meters below him. This man's a legend.
Well, holding your breath is not easy, and most of the time I just got blown away what was around me, and at the same time finding it hard to remember that I need to equalize. I need to hold my breath. At some point, I find myself laughing under the water. So it was quite challenging because, like, you just get overwhelmed with excitement.
That was good diving, man. Nice job. Manoir, how was it? How was the dive?
I'm not fit, you know.
What do you think of the sharks?
Yeah, I can tell it's beautiful down there. I think the minute I jumped into the water, it was just there. It just came in, clicked in, and I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, the visibility is beautiful, the sharks is beautiful. What else can you ask for?
That's true, huh?
Manoir, you had some fantastic free dives. Going down the rope, letting go of the rope. First visual always was looking straight at some sharks.
Wow.
Enjoying it and then coming back up again.
Nice.
Yeah, there were so many little blue sharks around you. You have to make sure they're not in your pockets somewhere.
Well, I wouldn't mind them.
How was it for you having so many sharks right around you? I saw a few swim between your legs. You had a couple swim over your shoulder.
I didn't see that.
Maybe that's a good thing. You did really well. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I mean, it's like with my confidence, being out there, going down and holding onto the rope and looking around was like, I felt like, wow. Like,
yeah, I could see you when you went down a couple of times and you just paused there.
Yeah,
and then you could take it all in, you know? And you could see the sharks around you and
yeah, that was the fun part.
Water.
You know, I think with practice and stuff, I mean, I can stay longer.
Yeah.
You know, I can stay longer. Yeah.
It was your first day, you did incredibly well.
For someone like Manoir, who's spent his time up on a mountain, allowing others to surf and play in the ocean under his watch, now he finally gets to come and see what's underwater. And he gets to come play with these just gentle, beautiful blue sharks out here in the deep. I think he loved it. I think that really changed his perception and his appreciation for sharks.
Before this whole adventure, I never thought that I would actually go out at sea, in the deep sea, and dive with sharks. And now I think I'll do it again. Maybe, who knows, maybe I might do it here in False Bay. But one thing for sure is not going to be with the white shark.
He did great. He kept his cool and he was there and he opened himself up to the experience. And judging by his reactions, it was a really rewarding, life-changing moment for him. One of my personal beliefs is you can't really create conservationists by drumming in hardline messages about what is happening to the environment and what is happening to species. Rather, try and create interest and love for animals and the ocean, and you do that by introducing them to these amazing experiences and showing them how amazing the animals really are, or the wildlife is, all the crazy and beautiful, wonderful things you find in the sea. And by creating an ocean lover, you're going to create an ocean conservationist, hopefully.
For those with a passion for the sea, who seek to discover what lies beneath, comes the opportunity of a lifetime to explore the underwater paradise on board the Ocean Adventurer. Each episode, Captain David De Villiers and his crew, First Mate Roddy Tor and international freedivers Hunley Prinsloo and Peter Marshall, meet up with an adventurer on a personal quest to investigate unparalleled biodiversity and wildlife in the unique marine ecosystem at the spiritual southernmost tip of Africa. The Cape of Storms is surrounded by hidden reefs and formidable seas. It's a place where legends are born, where mariners share tales of ghostly ships crewed by tormented sailors. But for the Ocean Adventurer and her intrepid crew, it is the place to get closer than ever before to the animals of the deep. It's the place for full immersion and daring escapades. It's the ultimate playground. All aboard the Ocean Adventurer. Facing unpredictable elements and rough seas to get our explorers closer to their dreams is the crew of this 82-foot catamaran. At the helm is Captain David De Villiers.
As a young adult, I started sailing, and I've effectively sailed around the world 6 times if you add up all the little bits and pieces. I grew up here in the Cape of Storms. It's been my playground since I was just a wee little guy. All my free time when I was a child was spent on the beaches, in the water, and it's seen me through right throughout my adult years. Ocean Adventure is all about taking what I've gained from the ocean over all the years and finding ways to share that with other people, getting them to experience that. You know, that's my driving passion.
Second in command and first mate on the Ocean Adventurer, Roddy Tor.
I've known Roddy from our teenage years. All our school holidays were spent surfing up the west coast of South Africa and diving for crayfish and living like off the land. He's always the perfect partner and first mate for any adventure because he's up for anything, and he always brings bucket loads of enthusiasm for everything he does. And what more can you ask for in a partner in crime for an ocean adventure?
I got my first surfboard, I think I was 7 years old, and ever since then I've had a passion for the sea. In any form, every day of the week I try to get into the sea if possible. I have complete faith in David. He's an amazing skipper. He is one of the calmest people I've ever met. In fact, I think if his heart got any slower, he might stop breathing. He's really an amazing guy to be around. He's got a really calming influence on everyone around him. So I trust him completely. I trust him with my life.
Meet our adventurer, American-born marine biologist Erica. For the past 11 years, she's researched the smallest life forms in the ocean, phytoplankton.
Phytoplankton, like most people don't even know what they are, and they're so tiny you can't even see them, but yet they're the building block for this food chain where it's phytoplankton, the zooplankton eat the phytoplankton, the fish eat the zooplankton, and on up the food chain till you get to whales and sharks and turtles and seals and all these amazing creatures that people are connected to. You've had enough?
But over the last couple of years, life has taken over and she's been drawn away from her passion, the ocean.
I spend a lot of time being a mom. And the days are just full and busy, and yeah, there's not a lot of time, like free time, to go out and get in the sea, to go for a surf, to go diving, to do those kinds of things. It just changes my whole day if I can get into the sea on the opportunities that I have and the moments that I have to myself to be able to do that. It just totally resets everything and to me makes it all worthwhile in a way.
Erica has one big dream. She wants to swim with whales.
I have a deep love for humpbacks, and they're here. They come right past here to go to their breeding grounds, and they've spent time in Antarctica. Obviously, they go there to feed to the Southern Ocean. They come up the East Coast and the West Coast here, making their way to their breeding grounds. So they're definitely here. And from what I understand, they're showing up earlier in the season and staying longer in the season. So I think there's a good chance we might see one.
Erica can think of no better person to help her realize those dreams than old friend David.
Grab a seat.
As you know, I've been studying phytoplankton and everybody at the bottom of the food chain for a long time, but I've never spent much time with whales. I've come close a few times and seen a lot from the surface, but I've never been underwater with a whale.
The best way to get you really close to a whale is on freediving. We'll start you off nice and slow. We'll probably start you off at Seal Island, shallow water dive. Some beautiful, crazy animals around that are very playful. And we'll be able to assess your level, where you're at. And once we're confident that you're comfortable, we're going to get you close and personal.
It would be amazing.
I'm going to take you on an incredible ocean adventure. I've got a great team, great boat. So we're going to make this happen for you. So go get your gear, and I'll meet you at the boat.
Okay, cool. Can't believe it.
Hey, Erica.
I'm a little skeptical.
Grab your gear for me.
Because it seems like a very tall order. I don't know what to say about it. Actually, I can't believe it's true, really.
Swing bridge, Ocean Adventurer 2, Ocean Adventurer 3, stop over. Erica first came to me with her adventure. I thought it was going to be a real challenge. It was very late in the season. A lot of whales have already started their migration up the east coast of South Africa, but no, we're up for it.
Integral to the Ocean Adventurer crew is South African freediving record holder and ocean conservationist Hanlie Prinsloo, who will guide our explorers safely into the depths of the ocean.
I believe that freediving is the purest way to explore the ocean, and I love the ocean. I love everything that is beneath the waves, and when you take one breath and go down, a whole world opens up for you, and I think it's the most beautiful part of the world. The human body is incredibly adapted for being underwater, and
The mammalian dive response is what happens to the human body when we get in the water. The second your face touches the water, your heart rate slows down. And slowly, slowly, we turn into a diving mammal, able to spend more time underwater freediving.
Peter Marshall is an American world champion swimmer. Hunley and Peter were brought together by a shared love for freediving and the ocean.
My swimming career was a very controlled experience. So we'd jump in a very chlorinated pool, we'd swim back and forth on a black line, and we'd get out the same place where we got in. And as I've transitioned away from the pool into the ocean, it's been a really eye-opening experience. I just love getting in the water with the big waves, the big animals, and putting years and years of swimming experience to a really good use.
Hunley and Peter are great to have on the team. They bring so much professionalism with them, and it brings a lot of confidence to the guys that we're introducing to the environment, that they know they've got this incredible team surrounding them.
This mission will set sail from Cape Town's historic harbour, which is situated on the foothills of the iconic Table Mountain, with its near-vertical cliffs towering over 1,000 metres. As long ago as the 1650s, Cape Town was used as a refueling station for naval vessels en route to reach the Dutch East Indies. But with its treacherous coastline, notorious for shipwrecks, it developed a fearsome reputation among sailors, who dubbed it the Cape of Storms. The team have time for a breakfast briefing before they begin the training for Erica's challenge.
Guys, Erica is very keen for us to take her to get in the water with some humpback whales.
Awesome.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
You ready for this?
As long as we can go with it.
Have you dived with whales before?
No, never.
First time?
First time. But what do you think the chances are that we'd actually come across the humpback this time of year?
The chances of finding the whales are good. We're in touch with Fishing Fleet, and they've seen whales at Dustin Island within the last week. The interesting thing is that we're seeing whales the whole year round in the Cape. So the seasons, as they were defined, have now actually shifted.
I know with the humpbacks, they've been arriving earlier, so they feed in the summertime in Antarctica and then come to breed in warmer waters, and that they've been making that movement sooner in the year than they were previously.
Part of the job is to manage your expectations, and getting close to a whale can be tricky. There's a lot of searching, a lot of waiting, and when you do come across a whale, it can be so quick. Yeah. So if we're lucky, we get what we call a player, which is a whale that's curious and he wants to interact with us, but more often than not, you will get quite a fleeting interaction with a whale.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it comes to your freediving, I think that will definitely get you in the water with some smaller animals, preparing you for that, exactly, and shallower water, preparing you for the humpback, and then I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm just so confident.
Absolutely.
We'll get you warmed up with the playful ones. They'll be all around you, and then we'll take you to the ones that are a little bit more
aloof.
Yeah.
When last have you been freediving?
It's been about 6-7 years.
Wow, so you jumped in straight in the deep end.
Straight in the deep end, to say the least.
Well, there's nothing to inspire one for freediving like whales.
Yeah.
Dacre Island, known to locals as Seal Island, has a thriving Cape fur seal colony. These marine mammals are a popular snack of the ocean's apex predator.
At first, it's like the idea of going to snorkel at Seal Island seems completely wrong to me. It's like, why would anyone do that? Because they're the natural prey of great white sharks, and there's a huge population of great white sharks in False Bay and all around, and so to be going to snorkel, which sounds like such a pleasurable thing, with seals, it just seems like a contradiction.
Fur seals are some of my favorite animals in the world to swim with because they are so playful. So something to be aware of is when we get in here, they will come right up to you. So there's no need to swim towards the seal, they will be swimming towards you. And they often get really curious, stick their faces right in your face. Sometimes they open their mouths, but it's more a playful or a communication thing. It's not a aggression thing, so don't worry about that. If we do feel that some of the seals are starting to behave oddly, we'll get out the water, but it's very unlikely, and I've never experienced it, so I think we'll have a really, really fun time. So once we get in the water, make sure you've got your weight belt on your hips and not in your waist, so you can still breathe into your stomach, and just focus on that deep, slow breathing into your belly, focusing on the exhalation, slowing down the heart rate, and then when you're ready to go, big breath, stomach, chest, shoulders, snorkel out, and then we go down. And it's really shallow around here, so you shouldn't have any problems with equalization. But just remember, if you haven't been diving for a while, for the first few dives, only focus on equalization. Equalize every meter or so. Especially in cold water, one tends to forget when there's so much going on. Let's get in the water. Okay.
I'm a little bit nervous, mostly excited. Working on my belly breath, deep belly breathing.
You'll be fine. What we're going to do is Peter and I are going to take you on this dive, and I'm going to go down with you, and Peter's going to do some surface checking for us. So when we come up, we just see that he's above us. Usually when we free dive, we do buddy system, where one goes down, then the other, then the other. So you and I are both buddy diving with Peter. Just hold on a sec. I think your mask is on the outside of your wetsuit. There we go.
Cool.
Feel good? Ready.
Rock and roll. My hands are freezing.
It's so cold.
So cold.
Hanli is in her element. However, Erica is a little more tentative.
I love the kelp forest and I love that environment, but I've only seen like a seal here or there, not any mass number of seals. So to actually go down, be in the kelp forest, and to have all of these seals around is just absolutely mind-blowing. It's lovely.
This ocean adventurer is as playful as the animals she's swimming with.
That's amazing!
How cute are the pups?
Right at you!
So cool.
They're just as curious in a way as we are, and you see that and you feel that. I love water of all sorts, but it's quite comforting to be able to see the bottom and have that orientation, because it's different when you're in deep water.
It doesn't take long for Erica's confidence to grow. But there's no competing with Hanli, the water baby.
I definitely think you've mastered the seals. Do you think you're ready for something bigger?
Yes!
Yay!
I'm very pleased with her after the seal dive. I can see she's comfortable in the water. She was not afraid around the mammals. And the best of all was seeing her come out of the water, the smile on her face. And that is exactly why we do what we do. I know that those experiences are burned into your memory and they'll last forever.
That was awesome!
Very cool, huh?
Yeah, it's so sweet.
They're so agile, they're so maneuverable. You know, come right up to you, give you a bit of a mock charge.
They're incredible. It's amazing how much they're watching you just as much as you're watching them.
Yeah.
And their eyes are amazing underwater here.
Yeah, massive discs.
Yeah,
eh?
it's massive, and they look like alien eyes. Well, I was definitely nervous before I got in because it's been a while. And once I was in and actually could hold my breath for longer than 10 seconds, it's amazing to be able to like manage your own body and learn more about your own body. It's like within 3 minutes of being down, I was like, okay, you just want to stay and stay and stay.
And did you see a lot of the zooplankton? Tiny little shrimps, swarms of little guys.
But I saw the little purpley gray brown ones swimming around. Everything, it's so productive because of that nutrient-rich water that's upwelled from, I mean, it's 10 degrees because it's coming up from the deep, and it's just beautiful. It makes for such a beautiful environment. These guys
It's so cool,
launching out of the water.
I hardly saw one bull, but it's not uncommon because you'd often have 50 females to one bull.
To one bull. I was going to
He'll
say, I
keep a
wouldn't
little harem of
thought
females.
that there was too many males there, but
Yeah.
I mean, they're much bigger, aren't they?
Yeah, much bigger. And we'll see a couple of bulls are sitting on the island. So could you distinguish between males and females?
No, I couldn't get over my breath enough.
Cape fur seals are a protected species within South African waters. They have specially adapted eyes and whiskers that provide them with the tools they need to maneuver through their natural kelp habitat. The prey of great white sharks, seals are themselves carnivorous, feeding on a diet of fish such as hake and anchovies, as well as crustaceans and cephalopods like squid and octopus. Here in the kelp forest, the seals are spoilt for choice. This ecosystem is also an important coastal habitat for tiny crustaceans called zooplankton, a key food source for filter feeders like whales. Plankton is a diverse group of microorganisms that drift through the oceans. They range from, amongst others, algae, bacteria, small crustaceans, and the eggs and larvae of bigger animals. Despite their small size, they play an important role as the main food source for whales. Plankton, like all marine species, are threatened by climate change and are at the mercy of rising sea temperatures and the acidification of the ocean.
We've definitely got some weather coming.
Yeah, this is all prefrontal cloud. Very interesting clouds there. High cirrus clouds over there. Tell us, how important globally is plankton?
It's everything.
It is everything, isn't it?
It is everything. It's the base of the food chain, and it's also the majority of the oxygen in the world.
It's about 50% of the world's oxygen gets created by plankton.
Yeah, they use carbon dioxide in the process of photosynthesis in order to grow, and the end product, what they produce, is oxygen. The water's starting to go a bit green, so there's obviously more phytoplankton in the water.
Yeah, I
noticed
that, and it's good for whales, but not so good for the visibility. Yeah. But hopefully, if we go a little bit further off the coast, we might find cleaner water.
It's these microorganisms that are responsible for drawing hundreds of whales into the coastal waters surrounding Cape Town. And despite their size, the ocean is a vast space in which these mega mammals can hide. Piecing together the clues, David and the ocean adventurer push on in hot pursuit.
So I know the ocean is huge, but we've got nice big whales. Even still, how are we going to go about finding them?
Well, we have a lot of working knowledge of this area, and we know from experience that they generally between Robben Island and Dustin Island, which is a little bit further north. And you can see on the chart here, there's a drop-off area where it goes from shallower water to much deeper water. So the coastal winds blow offshore in this area, and as they move the top surface layers of the water away, you get all that cold, nutrient-rich water that comes to the surface along here.
Yeah, so then the phytoplankton will be going off there and bringing the krill and the zooplankton and then the whales.
So hopefully we can find an area where they are feeding and slightly further offshore, but cleaner water. And that'll be the best conditions for our interaction.
Okay.
Now the real mission begins, to get Erica in the water with a humpback whale.
You know, there's a huge difference between stepping off a boat in a kelp forest and chucking someone off a boat, open ocean, next to a massive mammal. And yeah, I mean, everyone will tell you the first time, you know, they're scared. They got their hearts in their throats, and you really don't know what to expect. It's 2 clicks to starboard, 1.5 miles.
And just hours after setting sail from Seal Island, the team happen on a little bit of luck.
I saw a whale blow. It's probably about 1/2 mile this way. The plume came out in 2, so there could be a southern right whale.
I'm gonna get Erica. Erica!
But it takes more than luck to get in the water with a whale. It takes perfect timing, and Erica needs to get suited up quickly if she doesn't want this opportunity to pass her by.
So Erica, just remember when we get in and we're freediving, try to focus on the deep, slow breathing, and then just remember to pop your snorkel out before you go down. And no breathing out, ever. Come to the surface and then breathe. Are you nervous about the freediving stuff or the animal interactions?
I think I'm more nervous about the freediving stuff than the animal interaction.
Okay.
And I actually feel like the animal interaction will help me with the freediving stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It'll give you something to focus on for sure.
For her first encounter, it's a lot to take in. With the nerves creeping in, the girls take a minute and head to the bow to get a better look at exactly what Erica's letting herself in for.
Beautiful.
This is early southern right season. Well, about a month ago, we had a massive plankton bloom here that went into red tide.
That's right.
There we had about 40, probably 40, 50 southern rights in the bay for 2 to 3 weeks. So they definitely, here, table bass. They're definitely here to feed, you know.
Sheesh. Okay, there they are, guys.
All right, guys.
Let's get in the water.
This is the time to go.
Check it out. Sick, huh? Are you
Hello! Captain David. Okay, neutral door.
Here he is, here he is.
Got a surface right on the port bow.
Yay!
How cool is that?
But no sooner have the team gone to grab masks and fins than the whale decides to dive into the deep.
Oh, that was amazing. So close.
Totally checking us out, huh?
I love it when you can hear them breathing like that. It's the most incredible sound.
They're going to have to wait for the whale to surface before they can try again. Southern right whales are one of 3 species of right whales, and as their name suggests, are found in the southern oceans. After feeding in the waters around Antarctica, the whales migrate towards the equator to mate and breed. It is during this period that they're a common sight along the Cape. Their broad back without a dorsal fin, their enormous head, up to 1/4 of their body length and covered in distinctive callosities, and a unique V-shaped blow make them easy to distinguish from other cetacean species. The diving whale has given David and Roddy time to kit up and a chance for them to get in on the action. All eyes are on the surface, watching, waiting. That perfect moment.
Diving open ocean has its own risks associated with it, as does any freediving exercise. You know, the freediving that we do here is perhaps not as dangerous as diving deep, but we're asking people to do quite an extreme physical challenge.
David and Roddy are primed and ready, so as soon as they see that whale blow, there's no stopping them. The chase is on. However, Erica's lagging way behind. It looks like nerves may be getting the better of her.
When we saw the southern right whales, I think it was that moment of adrenaline for me, actually, because it suddenly became very real that here we are, there's whales in the water, and I'm going to be potentially getting in with them any moment now.
But when it comes to making those in-water encounters happen, there's no room for delay. Every second wasted increases the chance of losing that window of opportunity.
And there she goes.
After frantic preparation, Erica's hopes are dashed as the whale dives once again out of sight. With an ability to stay underwater for up to 30 minutes, there's no sign of the whale resurfacing, and this chance has passed our ocean adventurer by. Even David and Roddy, who sped ahead, only managed to catch a glimpse on this occasion. It's been a long day, with ups and downs, but the team remains determined to continue their mission and help Erica realize her goal of swimming with humpback whales.
What a beautiful end to the day. It's very hard to believe tomorrow it's going to be unplayable out here. 35 knots of breeze, big swell, so hunker down for the night. But that's the Cape of Storms.
That's the Cape of Storms, yeah. Raging the one day and calm the next.
You wouldn't think it looking at this, eh?
Yeah, what a beautiful day though. It's been absolutely spectacular.
The Cape of Good Hope is known for its turbulent weather. It has claimed up to 3,000 vessels and innumerable lives. The earliest record of wrecks date back as far as the 1500s. The weather has cleared and the ocean adventurer has set sail once again. David has invited expert Justin Friedman on board to give Erica and the crew a deeper insight into the world of the humpback whale. His field of study is biomimicry, which brings together the genius of nature with innovation and technology.
Erica, you've met Justin. Justin, Erica.
Hi.
Justin at the moment is very involved with Biomimicry SA, and we're hoping he's going to share some interesting facts, fun facts about biomimicry and about humpback whales if we see them.
If we see them.
Well,
I thought you were the man to take us to the whales.
If they're here, we're going to find them. We'll find them.
As the day draws to a close, they're running out of time to find a humpback whale and grant Erica her wish. Close to the shores of Dasson Island, the crew spot a humpback whale. It is thought tail-slapping behavior is used as a means of communication between whales, with sound traveling for miles through the water. It could also be a sign of aggression towards other males when competing for the attention of a female. This behavior is often repetitive and means that diving with the whale is off the cards.
There is an element of danger with diving with massive marine mammals. We do have certain rules which we apply to, so if the visibility is below a certain level, we will not dive. And if the whale is behaving in a certain way, we certainly will not get in the water with it.
Even though Erica is disappointed, Justin is thrilled by this spectacle of nature.
So Justin, you're a biomimicry expert. Tell me what that actually means.
Biomimicry is about looking to the genius of nature in order to solve human challenges. And it's learning from nature, not about nature.
Gotcha. So for instance, what's an example of what that looks like for us? A way for us to understand this.
Well, this is the greatest example right here. We have a humpback whale. Look at that thing.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, you know, it's like a double-decker bus. And how do you move a double-decker bus underwater with such agility, such dexterity? And if we look close enough, we can see on the leading edge of the whale fin, there are these little humps. They're called tubercles.
Okay.
Right? And that allows it to turn so efficiently. Think of it as we're trying to cut through the water right now.
Right.
Right? So the serration allows it to cut in two ways. The one is that with a normal cut, you get this little flurry of vortices in the water.
Right.
And that creates resistance.
Okay.
The moment you put those tubercles in, the water can just stream right through it. And so you reduce the overall friction and you reduce the drag. So for example, the biomimics will take that design, that geometry, that pattern, and see how they can imitate it when it's used, for example, on wind turbines. It's up to 30% more efficient. And on aeroplanes, the estimation could be between 30 to 40% more efficient.
Incredible. Nature's got some answers for us if we know where to look.
Yeah, and nature's been doing it for almost 4 billion years. Yeah.
The humpback derives its name from the pronounced hump at the leading edge of its dorsal fin and the high humping action as it dives down. They're found in all the world's oceans, spending summer months feeding in polar regions, migrating thousands of kilometers each year to tropical waters to mate and calve. Humpbacks are known for their distinctive and complex whale song that can travel miles through the open ocean. Their long pectoral fins, which reach up to 1/3 of their body length, have lumps along the leading edge, which give the humpback its impressive maneuverability and set them apart from other cetacean species. They're the longest appendages of any living animal on land or in the sea. This encounter may be thrilling to watch, but the clock is ticking and the ocean adventurer needs to keep moving. Time is running out for David to accomplish his mission of actually getting Erica into the water with a humpback whale. David's decades of experience in this marine environment means that he's finally guided his team to the spot where all the elements have fallen into place. It really is the last chance for Erica. Hunley has given her the confidence to get in the water despite the rough conditions. And David has decided that the best way to maximize their chances will be for he and Erica to go it alone. As captain of this mission, the responsibility lies with him to deliver the up-close and personal experience he has promised his adventurer. Keeping the numbers to a minimum increases the chance that Erica will get the interaction she's been dreaming of. As he always suspected, Dusson Island is the place where Erica has the best chance of realizing her dream.
How cold do you think the water is? What do you think the temperature is?
Judging by the air above the water, I'd say it's probably between 10 and 12 degrees. Not warm.
Maybe it'll be better than we think.
Let's hope so. And it'll probably be, visibility is probably about 5 meters. So we'll be really have to get nice and close to the whale to be able to see it.
Cool.
It's very much trial and error, so let's see how we go.
Yeah.
There she is. Look.
Ah, right
there,
ahead, yes.
right there. The little one.
I see
She
it.
just breathed in right there. Go.
And the chase is on.
Oh my gosh! It just went down and you can see the footprint. Look.
Oh, yes,
There.
I see it.
See the footprint coming up.
Perfect.
So cool.
What does that mean though? Does that not mean it's sounding? Or
It
is
just means that it's gone underwater and not necessarily very deep. It wasn't a very big footprint. If they do a really big kick, then you see that upwelling that makes the footprint.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's
Okay,
a little
so-
whale, can't go very deep.
It's not going to go far.
We shouldn't wedge in between the two boats. Oh, here we go. Who's ready?
I'm ready.
So they're going to have to try and swim really hard to keep up with the humpback.
Not at all, actually. With humpbacks particularly, they're very, very curious.
Oh, really?
So if they're
Okay.
just in the right position that the whale can pick up their presence, it'll either interact with them or not.
There it blows again.
Yeah,
Right in front
they're
of them.
right in the right place now.
Spotting the whale is one thing, but getting Erica that close underwater encounter is out of David's hands. Any interaction will be up to the whale.
Too far.
So frustrating.
I know, it's really frustrating, and at times it seems almost like you're never going to get there, but hang in there, we will get there.
Yeah.
We are totally at their mercy, we're in their turf, so when they're ready, they're going to come to us.
Yeah.
It's a pure numbers game. Effort gets rewarded, so if you're up for it, let's keep trying.
Keep at it.
So Erica and David keep trying and trying and trying.
Chasing whales, it can be exhausting. You can see by the 15th or 20th time that they've bailed off the boat, sat in the water, got back in the boat, moved position. They've done it repetitively. It does start to wear a bit thin, but that's the way that it is. Oh, here he is, here he is. Okay. Wait. Yeah, Erica did not realize how cold she was. She was so focused on the marine life around her, and suddenly she realized, oh my word, I'm cold.
It's really cold, and they're so fast. They move off so quickly, and you think you're going to see this animal and this experience is going to happen, and then it doesn't. And you start to get tired and cold, and yet there's this energy there because you're so excited and you're anticipating this experience.
There it is, coming up right in front of them.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh, they're so close.
Looks like they're in the perfect spot.
Oh my gosh.
She's on, she's definitely on.
And finally, the moment she's been waiting for.
Swim, Erica.
Come on, Erica.
Swim.
Get down
Wait.
there.
And I looked and I saw David, and next thing you know, he was down. And I'm still processing the fact that this is all happening and that there's suddenly now this baby whale. It's amazing. It's also like serene and peaceful and beautiful. I think it's so sweet that the first exchange and interaction was with a baby whale, because they just seem so, I think from both sides, everyone's a little more welcoming and a little more curious.
That was amazing. That was awesome.
Oh, well done. I'm so glad you saw it.
So beautiful.
At times, it felt like her dream was slipping away, but Erica never lost faith.
Well, the honest answer is I've never doubted David, because here I am, and I feel like David's put in a lot of time of going for dreams, and I also feel like for me, I have a lot of dreams and I never let them die.
And that is what the ocean adventurer is all about, taking people on an unforgettable trip of a lifetime. Erica set a colossal challenge for the ocean adventurer and her crew, and they delivered. After an incredible mission, it is not only our adventurer who is left with a sense of awe and satisfaction.
It was a big relief when we found the humpback whales. I knew that she would be really happy with the experience. If we do pull it off, it's always a great relief and makes me very happy.
I would take just about any opportunity to get out at sea and to dive and explore the ocean. Getting to do that on board this boat with this group of crazy people is so much fun. There are so few people who have the patience, the guts, and the stamina to explore the Cape waters and really dive with the animals that call this place home. It's not easy. It's cold, it's rough, it's unpredictable. It's definitely one of the most challenging places in the world, and you need the kind of captain like David who has so much knowledge of the ocean, so much knowledge of the animals and this coastline. It really is special to be part of a team who all believes in the same thing, who all believes that this coastline is worth exploring and is magnificent.
Next time on Ocean Adventurer.
I never thought that I would actually go out at sea, in the deep sea, and dive with sharks.